Hi, I'm Jennifer Klein, and I'd like to talk to you about the masterpiece, Nighthawks from 1942. So let's look at this. So, in your chapter, Deriving Meaning, is this fabulous painting that is so famous. I know you've seen it before, Nighthawks. And if it's in the chapter called Deriving Meaning, meaning is usually very clear in French Royal Academy artwork. They liked history paintings, biblical subject matter, mythological subject matter. But here in 1942, what are we looking at? And you have to look at the date first and start thinking, well, 1942, what is America right in the middle of? From 41 to 45 is World War II. So this is a wartime big city. And what time is it? And the title tells you a little bit, but if you look at the time of day, it feels like night. It feels even more so. It feels like, I think, what Ray Bradbury called the soul's midnight, like 3 in the morning. So these are not just nighthawks, they're kind of night owls. And Hopper says something very interesting about these people and how lonely the big city is. There's no narrative here. So deriving narrative, it's very ambiguous. We don't know what they're saying. There's nothing here to know. You can't pull anything out of this. You can say, well, maybe they're all sharing a meal and they haven't seen each other in a while, but something's missing. No one has food in front of them. And food is joy and celebration. It's what you come around during holidays. Nobody has food. Some of them have a cigarette, has coffee. Also, there's no discernible entrance and exit to the cafe. And with this brand new giant plate glass windows, you can see the reflections of the light kind of shining in all directions. And what's interesting about this is that fluorescent light had just been invented. And so there's these harsh fluorescent lights shining on these people who, even the couple, are sort of on their own or in their own world. And they're obviously in a big city. So even though it's the middle of the night, and of course there's no one around, it's about the loneliness and the isolation of being in a big city, the alone in a crowd sort of feeling. And Hopper was excellent at this. And I'll show you some more works from him to illustrate my point. This is called New York Movie. And you can tell that this girl is wearing her uniform that suggests she works in this giant movie palace. And it's one of those big fabulous ones built in the 20s or 30s, and it's the Egyptian or something else that's incredibly grand. And she's watching a movie which in itself is supposed to transport you to another place, and it's supposed to be fantastic and glorious, and yet she's alone in her own world. And if she's lost in daydreams, it's another thing where instead of being with everyone, you're sort of alone in a crowd and lost in your own thoughts, which is actually very similar to a much older artwork, Edouard Manet's Bar at the Folies Bergère. And the Folies Bergère was an incredibly fashionable and popular place to be in France. Only the most fashionable and wealthy and fabulous would go there. And this girl obviously works there. And she's being spoken to, if you can see in the reflection. And yet she's got this blank stare. She's alone with her own thoughts. And it's very lonely in a crowd. And going back to Hopper, he does many of this kind of feeling of all of the modern technological advancements. In the reflection behind her, you can see the repetition of the lights above her head. So this is a nice automat. If you don't know what an automat is, it was kind of like a open up very early and very late sort of automatic cafeteria where you could just put coins in and reach in and get a sandwich or a coffee or something, and there would only be a few people on hand. And as you can see, she's only removed one of her gloves, and she has an empty plate in front of her. Again, very much like Nighthawks. And she's lost in her own thoughts. And finally, Compartment C car. Again, you're in this amazing technological achievement, fast coast-to-coast travel and the train looks very clean and modern, and she's very well-dressed, and yet there's a sense of nothingness, quiet, this quietness that Edward Hopper delivers to you. So when you get to the granddaddy of them all, Nighthawks, and this sense of sort of the mist of the nighttime and the quiet, and it's not quite peaceful. It's filled with something, but you don't know what it is. It's just fantastic. And that is all for Nighthawks, and I'm sure I'll talk to you very soon. Okay.